Yo, what's up guys? In this video we're taking a look at FSS Formula Sim Series, arguably one of the best no assist leagues. As you can see on the right hand side, Jensen, you've got Ishma, you've got Shizhu Andrea, Shizhu Tom, you've got loads of Shizhu guys, loads of people in great teams. And today we're gonna try and get some good points, and what better track to do that than on PADMANIA track, China. And we're gonna straight away look at the weather forecast, and it's gonna rain in 10 minutes time. It usually means that we're only gonna have one shot at qualifying, and usually you have about 3 laps, of course, to get a qualifying lap together. And this time we're only gonna have one, so this is gonna be the lap that counts. Can we do it against a grid full of great people, of course? But luckily we are on a pad, of course, so we're in a huge advantage on this track because traction is so important on this track, and the pad is just overpowered on traction. So this track is a really good pad track, and we're gonna take a look at my hot lap here. First sector split 23.9. You know, for a banker the grip is low. That's not that bad, you know. Decent first sector. We're not messing up yet here. We want to get closer to that inside line like we do here. Going up to 6 and then moving down to 4th gear here. Getting close to that apex there and getting onto the power as soon as we can, short shifting up to 5th. Then in this corner we're gonna lose a bunch of time. 51.1 is our sector split, and then we go completely over the curb there, which I think this loses us about 2 tenths in total in this corner alone, maybe even more. But the rest of the lap was pretty decent. So we're now on the main straight, this long ass straight, of course, on China. Going into only 2 corners left on this track. Picking our braking point quite nicely. We're hitting the apex and getting onto the power. You can already see the first drops of rain are falling down. You can see on the dashboard, and we're sending it into the last corner. Luckily, we don't invalidate, and crossing the line, we're going to do a 31.096. And it puts us 2nd on the grid, which is very great. And only one person is still going to be able to improve on that because of the rain, of course. No more time for more quality runs. Only Jensen in 2nd. And there you can see Ishma with a 30.6. Yeah. great drivers. And look at this. We are, look, I don't know if you've seen my other videos. We're just some guy, and now we're sitting in 3rd behind Jensen and Ishma. Of course, this is China, so of course we're in kind of an advantage, but it kind of levels it out, and hopefully we're gonna try and keep up with these guys. These guys are both in F1 of PSGL, the best league of the no assists, and we're just gonna try and get some good points in this race today. 5 lights are out, and away we go. We get a decent start, but Lynx behind us gets an even better start, also on the pad, so bad OP, and he's on our inside here. We're gonna try and keep the position round the outside here, but we're kind of in an awkward position. Look at this, what he's gonna do. He's gonna smartly put his car right in front of me, and we have to back out of it because otherwise we run into him, and we don't want to get front wing damage on lap 1, of course. Still decent, you know, P4. We could have definitely had a better start, and here we go really wide, and now it's gonna be important to keep up with these guys. So what's gonna happen now, you can already see a train forming on the minimap. Everyone is gonna stay, or try at least, stay within 1 second of each other. And you can just tell I didn't do any race practice on the day itself of this race. Only the day before I did some race, only the soft stint actually, to get my setup down. And you can just tell we're just losing some time. And here again, missing the apex, and it just cost us already. That already cost us like 2 tenths, as you can see in the top left here. The gap is now 8 tenths, which means we're gonna have to use some overtake, and we're gonna skip now to lap 2. So on the same straight we're 9 tenths behind. Again, I had to use a lot of overtake because I just wasn't comfortable, and here we brake really early. Joey behind me brakes a little bit too late. He taps my back, and it causes a little bit of a collision, losing me even more time. And now the gap is 9 tenths, and it's crucial for our race, of course, that we stay within a second of the car in front, to have that important DRS that has opened on lap 3. Now you can see we did make it to lap 3, but I was kind of lacking. You can see already on the top left The gap is over a second now. Luckily, on the DRS detection point, we made it. But now we are behind a second and we're gonna have to push to get back into that 1 second. We again break a little bit too early. Tom makes the move on Joey there behind us. And we lose the DRS to Lynx because we're just not comfortable yet. And you can just tell that we're struggling, and that is why we have to use so much overtake. And on the bottom right, we're already nearing that 10%, and that is already below 10%. You're already gonna lose power, and you're not gonna have the most benefit of the overtake. Of course, it's gonna work less good when it's below 10%. So it's gonna give you less power, and it's gonna slow you down, of course. And of course we can't have that, because you can already see now we're gonna stay on board, and you can see just how we can't make any mistakes. So here we're gonna get close to this inside, and you can see just the gap on the top left is the thing you keep looking at that. So I was just sweating so much here, and I kept looking at the top left if I didn't lose it. Luckily, finally we get a good sector 2. Still, the gap is 8/10. It's not a comfortable gap, you know. And again, in this corner, we're just a little bit hesitant on steering inputs. And Tom behind us is looking comfortable, much more comfortable and much more faster. On this exit, we don't use overtake early enough, but then below the 10%, we're gonna lose a bunch of time. And Tom
if he goes for the overtake, just
still has overtake, as my teammate said. And now we're gonna do the most stupid thing you can do in a moment like this. Tom goes to the inside. I should have gone to the inside and let him through. But then I do this stupid thing. He has a little bit of a bad exit. And I thought, oh, I'm on the inside. Well, I'm not gonna, you know, let him through just like that. And then I'm so close to behind him here. And I didn't even want to pass him. But he goes for the inside. So I thought, all right, well, then I'm going to the outside. And then I was thinking, this is the dumbest thing you can do. Because look at the gap on the top left now. Shizou Tom lost is
in the pits.
3/10 behind, or 2/10 now behind the DRS.
Yep.
And it's crucial for the whole race, because Ishma in front of the train, he's pulling people along, and he's so quick that if you don't stay in the train, you can now see behind us there's also a gap. I think some people pitted, something happened, and now in lap 6 you can see the gap has increased already to 2.7 seconds for us. And yeah, so at this point Tom already knew that you know, I made some dumb mistake trying to fight him. Shouldn't have done that. But here at this point I thought I saw Jax retire from the session, and I thought it might trigger a safety car, so let's pass Tom here. And it didn't bring out a safety car. So now we're gonna do what we should have done earlier. Now we're gonna not fight him. And how do you do that? So now you can see on the bottom right, I lift off way before. I don't make a little bit of a move to the inside, and that's actually staying behind. So I should have done that way before. I've learned my lesson now, and you know, I can blame it on a lot of things, but it was just stupid to do, to fight him when I shouldn't have. So we're gonna move on to lap 8, and now we're gonna take ourselves into the pits, and Tom goes really wide. So I sensed an opportunity. I thought, fuck it, we're gonna break late. I don't know why I even tried it, but I tried to overtake him in the pits. I knew that Vettel once tried it here, so and he pulled it off. So I thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna try it. We don't make it, but we come out in 13th, and you can see the gap to Lynx. They pitted a lap earlier, I think. I'm not quite sure. The lap earlier or the same lap. And they are 3.8 seconds now ahead. Ishma stayed out until lap 10, and he's gonna pit now. And because of the undercut, we got onto the back of him. And this was kind of a good thing, but also a bad thing. So this meant Ishma had great pace, of course, fresh mediums. He could pull us along back to the DRS train. But you can see on the bottom right, at this moment I wasn't struggling anymore, but you regain so little ERS on this track that it was gonna be really hard for me to keep up with Ishma, who's actually in front of Tom, and that's actually the one we're keeping up with, because Tom is gonna also get pulled along by him on the DRS. And you can just tell we don't have that much ERS left. I wanted to save as much as I could, but you can already see the gap is just increasing, and it's almost a second. And the DRS detection point is, of course, after this corner. You can see it right here on the ground. We are within a second, just about. So I didn't use overtake on this exit, but that means that we're losing out, because now that we're behind a second, I should have just used as much overtake as I could. But now, because I just didn't use overtake in that moment, and now I realized it, that I just made another huge mistake for not staying with them, because there's no way I'm gonna keep up with Isma on his fresh mediums. And
trying to maintain a little,
yeah, you can see we're not driving slow. We're not driving slow, guys. And yeah, we do a 33.9, which isn't bad at all, but you can just tell on the top left, this gap is only gonna increase. It already increased 2/10 in only the straight there, and that is the small straight. So imagine the big straight. I'll show you guys as well. We're gonna skip on to the DRS detection point. Now look at the top left. The gap is 1.4, so I wasn't that much slower than Tom. I only lost about a tenth in the whole second sector. And you can see at the end of the straight, the gap is 1.8 seconds. 1.8 seconds, so that's already 4/10. And then we gain some time on this exit, and you're gonna see on this little straight there, he's also gonna gain another 2/10 on me for just staying behind. Isma probably had enough ERS, and I, as you can see, don't have any ERS, which loses even more time. And unfortunately, that is gonna be the whole race, guys. From lap 12 to lap 28, we just kept driving. The gap ended up being 8.7. Now look at the bottom right. I had to save fuel at the end. So in the end, it all didn't even matter, because of the fuel saving I had to do in the last couple of laps, and we lost so much time, and I even lose the car going on the last exit. But we end up in 5th place, and on a grid like this, we're gonna take that. Honestly, there was more in it, but with the fuel and with the mistakes, we've learned from our mistakes. Still a P5, that's 10 points, more than I've ever had in a league like this, so we're gonna take it. Excuse me for my ill voice today, but nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time.